What's up, everyone? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have an album review for you. So another one that came out on the 8th of May was the newest one from Naglfar, Cerecloth. This is their first album in 8 years. This band formed in 1992 in Sweden, and they've pretty much been a part of the whole melodic black metal scene for a long period of time. And honestly, I haven't listened to Naglfar in a number of years.
Yeah,
so this was kind of a nice little fun reacquaintance. And I did find out an interesting little bit that I never knew.
Yeah.
The name of the band, Naglfar, is named after a ship in Norse mythology that is comprised of the fingernails and toenails of the dead that ferries the armies of chaos into Ragnarok. Holy shit, that's fucking metal.
Yeah, dude, that's probably one of the most metal things I've ever heard, to be honest. He told me, and I was like, dude, you've won. I don't know how to top that. And it makes me more thankful that I live in the time period I live in, where we don't have to peruse around the seas in fucking boats made of toenails, because...
And fingernails.
And fingernails, sorry. Of the
probably
dead.
Gonna be a smell associated with that, too.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, no, rough. But metal as fuck. So, the album opens up with the title track, Cerecloth, and doesn't really bother with much of an intro, a little bit of ambient noise. It's not long-winded, it just pretty much comes out swinging with blasts, melodic tremolo, and everything black metal.
And that happens throughout the album, too. They don't waste any time. There is no real filler, except one piece at the end, and we'll get to that. Nothing. It just here, we're Naglfar, here! We're Naglfar.
Still Naglfar.
Still Naglfar, so...
I've always thought these guys are very comparable to Dissection, though, I mean, Dissection holds a very special place in my heart. I absolutely love their albums. But this pretty much harks a nice little balance between more melodic black metal and even some more raw stuff. You get a little bit later on the album with songs like Vortex of Negativity and A Sanguine Tide Unleashed, and those are decidedly more raw. These don't come across as Dissection worship, but more along the lines of bands like Marduk in terms of the raw speed and just anger and hostility. Like, they feel very different.
Yeah, Behemoth on the ambience as well as some of the grooves. It's
Mayhem.
Yep. It's jam-packed throughout the album.
But back to the title track. The title track and a later track, The Dagger of Creation, pretty much are kind of the standard fare for Naglfar's sound. It really just sticks to their guns, straightforward, blast beats, tremolo, atmosphere, a fierce attention to melody. But honestly, the opening track really didn't jump out at me very much. Like, honestly, it's one of my least favorite on the album, but I'd have to say this album is still incredibly good and loaded with really, really good surprises.
Like Poison from the Soul. And to me, this is where the record really starts picking up as far as bringing in some more elements other than just that kind of like black and tremolo lead-off that it had, where there wasn't a whole lot going on, but it did set the pace for the album. And this song, right off the rip, it to me, it reminds me of like almost an 80s groove. Just in the very, like, the intro part, again, where they don't really do intros, that opening riff just has kind of an 80s thrash feel to it.
A nice little isolated bass before the main riff comes in, and this main riff and this song, it just has a really cool sinister vibe to it.
Yeah.
Like, they really kind of bring out the darkness, and I really just got into this. Nice stomping rhythm.
Oh, yeah.
You're just with it.
And this is where I first started to notice, too, the vocals came into play a little bit more. They're very unique for this type of atmosphere as far as music is concerned. He has some actual cadences going on.
But the faster cadences are really
good. Yeah.
It's kind of like he's barking orders on that ship made of toenails and fingernails.
But it still fits the vibe of the song. The vocals don't come into play so much where the cadences are not required for the song. Like, what he does to break up that monotony is really cool. And this is the song where I first started to notice it.
This is where I heard some more melodic death metal influences too. Like, notably, there's a good chunk of this album that if Hypocrisy was a black metal band, I think this is pretty damn close to what they would sound like.
Or even Ulcerate's newer material. Their kind of take on that blackened atmosphere now, I think, ties into some of the sound of this album, too.
Definitely a lot of cool dissonance, and there's even some folky melodies that come up on horns, which I thought was a really cool touch. And the folky melodies don't really come up as much, but I thought that was like cool little incorporation there. But these guys did some kind of different stuff on this album that I really wasn't expecting.
Which brings us into our next track, Cry of the Seraphim. Holy shit. The intro is Gojira. It's nasty as fuck. There's a groove in here that I just didn't expect. It really threw me off.
It's a breakdown driven song.
Yeah,
and generally
yeah.
you don't expect that in black metal. Black metal is generally more about the atmosphere and creating the mood. And while this definitely does that, this also brings in heft, like brutality.
Yeah, and I'm talking like Gojira, Behemoth with, say, the Satanist.
Yeah.
Or even early Morbid Angel grooves. That nasty-ass guitar tone that's on, like, Blessed of the Sick or Gateways of Annihilation. Just, it's there.
It's a tremendous hook. Like, I really love the melodic death elements that also show up in this. And the fact that they still throw in a cool little tremolo blast beat section, but that isn't the bulk of the song.
Yeah.
The bulk of the song is this nice, slow, almost mosher of a song.
Yep. Get into the last two songs of the album. This, I think, is a defining moment for this album as far as what the mode that they've tried to convey throughout the album. These are two songs that really tie into each other. The song Necronaut, which is their most notably shortest song, it's about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. The opening of this song is just this really nasty, doomy... It's like Candlemass with Iron Maiden's melodies.
Yeah. I got a distinct, almost Death Doom feel from it, very Paradise Lost. Now, I think it kind of works almost as like a hype track in terms of going into the next track. But it didn't work kind of the way I expected.
It didn't either. I was a little let down when it leads into the next track because Necronaut also has a really epic sound to it.
Honestly, outside of like Poison for the Soul, that was the only other time like it really felt like giant and epic.
Yeah. I mean more epic in the sense of like you go to a show, right, and you've been there all day, you've had a couple beers, and you're kind of buzzed, but you're not real sure, and then this song comes on, and like immediately you just throw your hands up, and you're like, it's pretty good, and then, you know, you throw up your lighter, and then...
Someone politely tells you to put your dick away.
Exactly.
You buy the entire bar a round of shots.
Don't take your dick out at the bar. That never works.
And then you wake up wondering why you're $400 poorer.
One time it worked. Not a big deal.
But yeah, I really loved the giant epic feel of this, and it really kind of caught me off guard because I really wasn't expecting this. Like, it really has a tonal shift from a lot of the material on here.
Yes.
But going into the last breath of Yggdrasil, it doesn't really match up as well as I like. Now, it's a really good song. It's a nice, solid, double-time driving song, very similar to, like, Immortal and sort of their kind of, epicness.
Except during the breakdown where it's doom. 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 You're all doomed.
It definitely creates a really cool mood. There are some really great tremolo harmonies in the song, and it's very catchy. They even throw in some gothic choir chants, which, when it comes down to the additional effects on this album, there are sporadic keyboards, but they're really kind of back in the mix, and I kind of like that. Well, and the mix over here is really good.
Yeah, and that's another thing I wanted to say about as far as this mix is concerned for this album. It's really even across the board. I can count on maybe one hand the amount of times where I heard a melody that might have been too out front, or like drums that might have been too far back. But those moments are not overpowering. Overall, the record just has this really nice balance to it, which additionally creates for the epicness of some of that atmosphere and some of just the tone.
Yeah, I like the fact that nothing really got overpowered in this.
Yeah.
And when those gothic chants come in, they're kind of back in the mix, but you can hear them. It's like, oh, okay, that's a cool layer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the song, at least for me, kind of ends too abruptly. It just pretty much drops off, and then you're greeted to keys and ambience, which are cool, they're mood setting, but I feel like this was all the time that they could have wasted in terms of intros on this album.
Yeah.
Just thrown towards the bag.
Which is cool. You know what? I would rather have that. I would rather have the last minute be just like some somber fucking crap with a keyboard and maybe like some wind or something, because, I mean, it becomes abundantly apparent in the listening of this album that, at the end is where you're on that boat full of toenails, like, well, fuck.
Wash your fucking hands.
What do we do now?
And your armor, whatever you're wearing.
Yeah, right. Your battle armor.
I just feel like it could have ended much bigger. Like, I'm always a big fan of giant closers on albums. You kind of just throw everything you got in there and make it as big as possible. And this just kind of tailed off a bit. Well, it was a nice little, ambient melody. I just kind of wanted a little bit more out of the closer. But overall, this was a really solid listen.
Yeah, dude, I was shocked.
Yeah.
I really was.
I haven't jammed Naglfar in a number of years, and I definitely remember liking him. I just haven't listened to him since their last album came out, and that was 8 years ago. But this is definitely reacquainting me with the band, and definitely in a positive way. So overall, I want to give this 3.5 stars. I think this is a solid album from them. If you love your black metal, decidedly more melodic, but also still like the raw stuff too, because there is bits of that in here.
Sure.
Definitely check this out. It's a really good fucking release.
Yeah. Dude, I'm gonna give it 4. Throughout the whole album, I've been teetering between 3.5 and 4, and it was kind of like, well, fuck. I really don't have any complaints. Is it epic in the sense that it gets 5? No. It gets 4. It was a great listen. I had a lot of fun. Again, too, it brought me back. I haven't jammed Naglfar in fucking forever. I didn't even know this came out until we did a little bit of research. I dug it. Once again, me like everybody else, I can't fucking wait for tours to come back. You know, and this just adds those guys on the list.
Well, we're going to see them because they're at MDF next year.
Oh, that's right. So, disregard what I just said, not important. Good fucking record.
So, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do shit like this all the time.
All the time.
And we're on Instagram.
And we're on Instagram. Look, first off, you guys, I know we've been plugging Instagram the last, I don't know, probably 10 videos or so. I'm having fun, dude. Thank you for the bands that have come. Actually, this morning I woke up to like 8 bands, like, hey, by the way, we have an album. And I'm really looking forward into digging into this shit. It's making our jobs notably easier, even though we have quite the influx of things to do these days. Once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, if you are in a band and know the kind of music we listen to based on what you've seen us fucking review.
We like metal.
Yeah, we like metal. What are the odds, right? If you have a band, please let us know, and we'll make sure that you get on to at least some sort of segment here that we have, probably most notably on What's John Jamming. I'll give you a good 2 or 3 minutes of a review of what I think, and yeah, much like you guys are helping us out, we're here to help too. We're just here to have fun, guys, so thank you.
You guys take her easy.
Later.